So the guy with the red brick took it, he wanted, but
For a lifetime, Ralph Sherman has been entertaining people with his razor wit, intriguing stories, and diverse dialects. A man of rare talent and good taste, Ralph tailors each performance to the delight of audiences everywhere.
Tom said to me before the program, he said, Ralph, when you do the show, please don't talk about sex, politics, religion, people's ethnic background, their age, or their gender. But when I was talking to Tom, I hope you don't mind, Tom, he told me a story about a couple of bricklayers. Can I use that, Tom? Okay. So these two bricklayers were always competing with one another about who could lay the most brick, the fastest and the cleanest and the highest and so on. So one day, the foreman decides he's going to have a contest between the two bricklayers, and he takes them outside and he gives the one guy a red brick and he gives the other guy a buff-colored brick. And so he said, who can throw it the highest and catch it? So the guy with the red brick took it, he wanted, but shoo! 100 feet in the air. I'm elaborating a little bit, Tom. And then the guy with the buff-colored brick, he took it, he wound up, shoo! Woo! It never came down. Did I tell that right, Tom? I thought it was funny when you told it. Of course, we were at the bar. We were having a couple of drinks, so thanks very much. That was very nice. Mentioning about age, I have a lady who is a little bit elderly walking by a pet shop one day, and she notices in the window of the shop there is a parrot. She thought, wouldn't that be wonderful? I could teach to say things. So she went in and she wanted to buy the parrot, and the fellow that owned the shop said, I have to tell you, the only thing that bird has ever said is, who's that? And she thought, well, that's probably because nobody really worked with the bird. So she bought the bird, and she'd go home and she'd sit and talk, and she, Polly want a cracker? And all the bird ever said was, who's that? So one day she has trouble with her pipes. She calls the plumber. The guy's on his way over. She goes out to buy a couple of things. So he came and he knocked. The bird said, who's that? The fellow said, it's the plumber. The bird said, who's that? And the guy said, it's the plumber. The bird said, who's that? The guy said, it's the plumber! And he fell over to dead feet from exhaustion. He no sooner hit the floor and the little old lady came back. She said, my goodness, who's that? And the parrot said, it's the plumber! There has been a lot in the news lately, as we all know, about flying and airplanes and some stories that are not too pleasant. If you have traveled by air recently, it is indeed an experience, as we all know, with the TSA and everything else. So when I'm on the plane, luckily I get a seat in the economy section, and I'm sitting on the aisle so I can kind of stretch out. And you know, if you sit there and you watch the first class section, you can see them all before they get drunk and they close the curtain. So I'm watching and I see this lady gets on the plane with a bird, got a parrot in a cage, and sets it on the seat next to her. A couple of minutes later, a great big guy with a big black cigar, he got on the plane and he sat in the seat right across the aisle, and she turned to him and she said, that's a terrible cigar. Whereupon he told her that her bird didn't smell too good either. So one of the steward, because there was more than one, came down and took the bird from the lady, the cigar from the guy, went to the back of the plane. Now, I can't believe it. I look out the plane and here's that bird. What do you think he had in his mouth? It was a buff-colored brick. Who knew? Now, you know one of the other things that's going on right now, by the way, are there any Catholics in the audience? Catholics? Good, we're going to talk about the Catholics. So, for instance, you may recall when Pope John Paul came to Chicago. Some years ago, he went to Grant Park. There must have been 25,000 people that were there to hear what he had to say. And from there, he went on to New York, Yankee Stadium, another 40, 50,000 people. Just before the program began, a guy way up on the top stood up and he said, "Play ball!" He said, "That's the Pope." He said, "All right, play bingo." Now we've got Pope Francis, not Pope Francis, yes, Pope Francis, who seems to be the kind of person that would want to mingle with the flock, who goes out into Rome at night and visits with the poor people. So can you imagine? He probably enjoys pizza. How many of you enjoy pizza? Why wouldn't the Pope enjoy pizza? Okay, he calls a little pizzeria, orders a pizza. The guy is absolutely ecstatic. He's going to make a pizza for the Pope. It's going to have all kinds of wonderful ingredients. It's going to have pepperoni and sausage, and it's going to have mushrooms and peppers. He's got this nice hot pizza, and he runs out and he jumps into his Fiat. What do you think? It was a Chevy? He jumps into Fiat, and he's on his way to the Vatican, and wouldn't you know it? Hey! Because he's Italian. Hey! Where are you going? He said, "I got a pizza in the car for the Pope." He said, "You mess around, we're going to be in a lot of trouble." He said, "Okay, you follow me." Hey! They get to the Vatican, the guy gets the pizza, he runs up the stairs. She's gone for about a half an hour, comes back down, and the policeman is still there. He said, "Hey," because he's Italian. He said, "Hey, he liked the pizza?" He said it was abbondanza. He loved the pizza. He said, "Well, maybe the least you could do is share with me half of the tip." He said, "Well, maybe you're right. Okay, here's your half." Here's your half. Would you Catholics get up and explain what I'm doing? Are they? God bless you all. All right, now listen. Is there anybody else in the audience who happens to be from either a background of English, Irish, Welsh? Some of you are nodding your heads. Yes. The wonderful thing about the British humor is it's rather subtle. So here we have two of these fellows meeting on the street corner in the morning, and the one fellow says to the other, "By Jove, I got up at the crack of dawn to see the sunrise." The other guy said, "Well, you couldn't have picked a better time." Fellow said, "I took my girlfriend to the seashore fishing." The other fellow said, "Really? Did you catch anything?" I said, "My God, I hope not." Two of these chaps are driving through the countryside. They come to a little inn, and the guy gets out of the car, goes up to the innkeeper, and he said, "I say, have you got a big black dog with a white collar?" The fellow said, "No, I don't think we've got anything like that here." He said, "See, I told you, Harry, we ran over the vicar." You folks don't get out a hell of a lot there. Listen, I'll tell you what. I thought maybe it would be nice. My friend Tom suggested that I have a few of you come up and help me. And I won't do this to embarrass you. I really won't. I think we'll just have a good time. And this gentleman in the yellow shirt, would you come up and join me, sir? Would you please? And Jim, how about you, Jim? Would you come up here? Okay. Now we need two ladies. Will each of you gentlemen suggest a couple of ladies to come and join us? Who would you like to have come up with us? A lady in the audience?
I know how to do this. I'm going to have my wife come up.
That'll be nice. All right. And how about you, sir?
Pick one.
Pick one. All right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to pick the lady who is sitting next to your wife. Is that all right? Would you come up and join me? That's very nice. Thank you. Aren't you thrilled to be here?
Oh, he is.
Of course.
He's a first-timer.
All right. I'll tell you what. What we're going to do is take you out of the city and into the country, the rolling hills of the countryside, and up that little path to that little barn that's sitting on the hill. And on this farm, there are all kinds of animals. There are ducks and geese, and there are cats and dogs, there are horses and cows. And if you could be any one of those animals, which one would you like to be?
I'll be a horse.
Be a horse, all right, sir? And how would the horse sound? Okay. And you, ma'am, which one would you like to be?
The cat.
And the cat would go?
Meow.
All right, so we have a cat that goes.
Meow.
We have a horse that goes. And you, sir, would
I'll
like
do the dog.
the dog? Ruff. Okay. And you, ma'am?
I'll be a cow. Moo.
All right, isn't that something? Now, this happens to be a farm that all of you know. It's Old MacDonald's farm. So what I'd like you to do is, could I have you all hum this note? Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Now on that farm he had a cat, E-I-E-I-O, with a
Me meow, me meow, me meow. Here. Me meow, me meow, me meow there. Here a Mimi, there a Mimi. Everywhere a Mimi. Old MacDonald had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O. Now on that farm he had a
Horse.
E-I-E-I-O, with a here and there.
Everywhere.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Now on that farm he had a dog, E-I-E-I-O, with a woof here and
Woof.
there.
Everywhere. Woof. Woof, woof, woof.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Now on that farm he had a cow, E-I-E-I-O, with a
Moo. Moo. Moo.
let's get a receipt. E-I-E-I-O. How about a nice hand for all the animals on the farm, all right? Thank you very much for being such a good sport. Thank you. Thank you very much. I got three gentlemen that are sitting on a bench, and it's on Collins Avenue, and it's down in Miami. And it's one fellow says to the other, these are older fellows, and one guy says to the other, he said, well, you know what? I'm having a problem. He said, oh yeah, what's the problem? He said, the problem is I can't pee-pee. Oh. He said, you think that's something? I got a problem. I can't poo-poo. What's the problem? He said, I don't know, it's in the bowels, it's in the urinary tract, it doesn't work right. And the third guy said, well, I'll tell you something. Every morning at 5 o'clock, I pee-pee. 6 o'clock, I poo-poo. The guy said, what's the problem? He says, what's the problem? I don't get up till 9 o'clock. So, I'm at church the other day, and I hear these children that are in the other room, and they're having their kindergarten class on the Bible. I thought it was so interesting, I made some notes about what they were saying. And the one little guy says, well, the epistles were the wives of the apostles. They were asked if anybody could give them an explanation of the resurrection. And the one little boy said, well, I know, after 4 hours you have to see your doctor. It said, dear Father who does art in heaven, Harold is his name. And forgive us our trash baskets as we forgive those who put trash in the basket. Now, I'll tell you what. You have been such a wonderful audience for me. I thought maybe what I'd like to do is have you kind of sing along. You did well with Old MacDonald. I want to teach you a different song. Well, actually, I'll start with this one. You know the one that's called My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean? You know that song? Okay. Could you just hum the note? Okay. And then just join in, join in with me. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie. Wait, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Whenever we get to the letter B, like in Bonnie, we'll stand up. Okay? Now, then we get to the next letter B, and Bonnie will sit down. All right, here we go. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Bring back, bring back. All right, we're not going to do anything quite as rigorous. This is a song that's called the Chimney Song. The Chimney Song. I'll give you the words and then we'll sing. I'll show you the melody that goes with it. The words are like this. You push the damper in. You pull the damper out. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. So, as teachers, would you just repeat after me? Make sure you all know the words. You push the damper in. You pull the damper out. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Very good. Now here's the melody that goes with it. You push the damper in. You pull the damper out. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Well, it's not the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, but it's pretty good. Now, here's the thing about it. When you're singing, there are certain motions I would like you to do. For instance, when you push the damper in, I want you to push the damper in and pull the damper out. When the smoke goes up the chimney, it goes up with both hands. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Now comes the highlight of this entire selection. And that, of course, is the glory, glory, hallelujah. And you have a napkin on your table. Or if not, maybe you have a handkerchief or a tissue. So when you get to the glory, glory, hallelujah, you go, glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. All right, let's try it from the beginning. Here we go. You push the damper in. You pull the damper out. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Okay, that's very nice. We're going to do the song 5 times. But the way we'll do it is this. On the first verse, we will merely push the damper in. We won't say anything. We'll start singing on the second verse, and each subsequent time through the song, we'll do the action. We won't sing the verse, and at the end, we won't be singing at all. You going to try that? Okay, here we go. Ready? You pull the damper out. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. The chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Glory, glory, hallelujah. The smoke goes up the chimney just the same. Big finish, here we go. Give yourself a nice hand. I remember doing that at a show one evening, and a fellow walked in who had a hearing aid. You've been a wonderfully nice audience. I hope I've done the things that you wanted me to do, and that was to make you laugh a little bit, forget about whatever you're thinking about. And I leave you with this little bit of philosophy. Love your enemies. It drives them nuts. Thank you so much.